hair in a mess, and all alone. She glanced around the duo-shit bedroom. Near darkness, the light came from a glowing cyan green crystal on top of the dresser. Other keepsakes had sat beside it, but she'd stuck them in a drawer. Relics of the past, more chains to hold her back. Like the rest of the ship, a black strip split the bedroom in half. She didn't want this life, shrouded and forgotten to her. The Zetar had a new life, one she'd grown accustomed to. She had purpose and a goal, and she hadn't needed Jed to find them. If she were honest, she didn't want to go back. Arryl climbed out of bed, walked over to the crystal. A mirror hung above it on the wall, dual segmented, of course. She sat on the dresser and stared at her left ankle. A tattoo of a 4-leaf clover decorated it. She'd come too far. Arryl had outgrown the past, and a deluge of recollection could change that. Would change it, if she had any say. Legally a pirate with hopes and dreams and plans of her own. The Zetar wasn't about to give them up. Selfish, but so would life. Take what you want or get nothing. Deny or embrace us or them. Arryl studied herself in the mirror. Waves of bluish green illuminated the right half of her face, washed over it in effervescent waves. The look in her eyes was distant and frigid. She wondered what Jed felt right now, wherever he was. Did he care for those he was with? The reckoning is coming. You both can't win. Jed's got a world, friends, just like you. You're not just adding him to your life, you're ripping him forth from his. Can you do that to him? It's his happiness, or yours. She didn't plan to give him a choice. To call her partner a means to an end would put it too nicely. Jed was another shackle, a tie Arryl couldn't sever. In a way, she resented him for holding her back. He was the one ghost she could never exorcise. So Arryl would drag him around, dead weight on her tail. What would Jed do? She wasn't sure. Hopefully he didn't want a reunion or things would get ugly. But how could he not? And tell him what he'd gone through. For all she knew, her memory might be driving him forward. In that sense, Arryl pitied her partner. He hadn't been broken of the past, not like she had. Jed was the shadow, the side of her still caught up in what had been, what could have been. He was the looming question, the gaping uncertainty. If she wanted wholeness, Arryl would have to face him. And that showdown gnawed at the Zetar. Arryl stood, throwing on her bodysuit and trotting to the cockpit.
On the torn, Sheila. Just pardon the
Good. Take us to Merculon. The duo ship zoomed toward Talana. The evening sun's rays starburst the bones of the Imperium capital ship. Fetus flew in and out of it, docked in its blasted open hangar bays. The Genasi bone shell lay smashed beneath the capital ship, its hull cleft in two and repurposed to pull from the slum. Meridians walked through the hull slum in stern quartets and exchanged brief, barbed words with the impoverished locals. Trash barrel fires and cheap wood lights cast a shoddy light on the dirt-crusted world. A new black that far beneath the capital ship. Merculon and Juvo stood in the depths of the great vessel, at the point where it had halved the bone shell. Gaping holes were gashed port and starboard by the very bone shell it had sundered. It was shambled from one hole to the other, one shell half to its partner. Juvo ran her hands along a glowing blue wall yarn. It depicted a mighty being of swirling serpentine limbs and broad angel wings, 4 wings and an X, and a flame with blistering sapphires. Its long dragon's head stared over a crowd of prostrate, reverent figures. People forget greatest strength of Imperium in war with Genasi. There are many other races in Sector besides those two. Caught in middle, they became ultimate battleground. She glanced over at Merculon, keeping his eye on their surroundings. Then back at the winged one. The Praxis Superior great deceivers. Twist and turn the heart of lesser beings. Thrall them. Genasi were more numerous, but Imperium had souls of their sector. That's why Genasi created the Hive. To even odds.
There's no saints in war, Marn.
No. But Galaxy loves to romanticize Imperium. Admire them. Search for where they went. Perhaps it's better if we not find them. They let a nicker stick.
Think we will?
Hope not. She frowned. I fear what we will find. The conversation fell quiet. I have told you of me, bounty hunter. We know some of Imperium and Genasi. But what your story? Merculon smiled.
You're not the first to ask. Reckon you won't be last.
But will you tell? He thought about that.
Nah.
Why not?
Makes it more interesting.
He waved his nickel stick at her.
I could lay out some hard-working no one's origin story. Could wax poetic about getting it engineered in a black market lab. The product of who knows how many races. Zetar's years of tales of daring misadventures. But what's the point? Let a galaxy ride my past. It's got a better imagination.
I prefer fact. She crossed her arms and furrowed her brows. Is any of that true?
If I say yes, will you believe me?
Merculon's smile flicked to a grin.
Next week, I'll be the son of the Abyss.
The Abyss was an astral cataclysm.
Maybe it was Mom on a tantrum.
You impossible.
Exactly.
The hunter toasted in triumph with his nickel stick. Jill rolled her eyes and looked back at the mural. 5 minutes later, Arryl and Shep approached from further in the capital ship. Genoir. Shep dipped his hat. Ringwood sends his regards.
Tilame!
Merculon turned to face them.
Let's take a walk.